Hi everyone, welcome to day one of the 5-day challenge to learn more about what a Salesforce career could offer you in terms of well-paid, flexible opportunities. I'm Heather Black, founder of Supermums, and I launched Supermums in 2016 to help parents understand the amazing Salesforce career opportunities that are available to you that you might never know about otherwise. I launched Supermums as a non-profit organisation because I was really passionate about helping people into employment. That was my backstory, and I'll come on to that in a moment. But equally, I'd stumbled across a Salesforce career as part of my relaunch journey, and felt after a few years of doing that and earning 60k, working 3 days a week, having a newborn baby, I was like, other parents need to know about this. This is absolutely possible for other parents to be able to relaunch their career. And I wanted to raise awareness around this to other people. So thank you for being here today. I'm glad that I've reached you. And I hope over the next 5 days that this will be quite an educational experience for you. And at the end of it, you'll be able to make that informed decision about whether you think a Salesforce career is right for you. Now, today I'm going to tell a little bit about my backstory because it will help to explain what a CRM is. And I'll also delve into the different job roles that you can then progress into, because there is a job for everybody, I feel. We have a little quiz that you can do as well as part of day one that will help you identify the job that might suit you based on your parenting attributes and skills. So I'm sure you'd love to share that with us. So what I'm going to do is also, firstly, is going to share my backstory a little bit, which will explain what a CRM is, because maybe it's something you've never come across. Certainly for me, it was something that I stumbled across. I'd never used a CRM in an organization before. Now, a CRM stands for Client Relationship Management System. Salesforce is the #1 CRM system in the world, used by over 150,000 companies globally and over 50,000 non-profits. And those numbers are climbing every day. It's exceeded many of their competitors because they continue to innovate and invest in new technology, and they are the forefront of the product industry in the CRM product market. So what it means is if you skill up in Salesforce, you have got an internationally recognized certification where you can work from pretty much anywhere, because these companies and non-profits all over the world use Salesforce. So it's a great opportunity to get that advantage and to have that flexibility and to be able to work remotely if you need to. So originally, where did I come across Salesforce? Well, I was originally running a non-profit organisation, which I launched in 2006, that supported young professionals aged 18 to 30 into employment and to start a business as entrepreneurs. Now, after a few years of running that, I had a team of 4, and somebody introduced me to Salesforce, and I was like, well, why am I going to need this? And it was only through sort of a rapid growth of my organisation that I realised I needed a system that was going to collect all of the contact details of the people we were working with, whereas a team, we could log any interaction that we were having with them and any opportunity that we were doing with them. So, for example, we call that a 360-degree view of a customer. So I wanted to be able to log, phone calls that we'd had, emails, sales opportunities, what we delivered to them, what the outcomes were with those young people that we were working with. And I needed a system to record all of that. So when I went from a team of 4 people to 40 people, which happened over the course of a year, we needed a system to be able to monitor and track all of those conversations and all of those deliverables with customers. And that's what a client relationship management system, a CRM, helps you to do. It manages all those interactions across sales, service, marketing, and all of those conversations in between. So it provides that, as I say, that 360-degree view of what is actually happening. Now, having a CRM helped me really grow my non-profit organisation. It went from 100k to 1.4 million in a year. And that was partly because we could track all of our information. We could keep that information compliant and secure. And that helped me win more contracts. So it was quite a transformational journey for me and our organisation. And that's why I fell in love with Salesforce. So off the back of that, I decided that actually I wanted to help other non-profit organisations use Salesforce to grow their impact as an organisation, whether that's through fundraising or generating and gathering more volunteers, and helping them have more impact overall. It's something I was really passionate about. So when I was having to rethink about my career options, I'd handed the business over to somebody else. I was about to start a family. I was about to move to the seaside. And I was like, oh my gosh, what can I do that is going to allow me to transfer my skills, but still earn really well, work part-time, work remotely, and have a newborn baby, right? You're thinking, well, how do all those things sit together? Because quite often we think we have to probably give up our career. And that's what led me to researching around Salesforce. So I was out where you are now, exploring a career opportunity, wondering what it could offer me. And the way that I found out about that was through having conversations with people who worked in that industry. And it's why we offer a free career consultation as part of this 5-day challenge. Like I encourage you to pick up the phone and to speak to our customer success team and to have a chat about your transferable skills, about the jobs, and just to understand it all more in detail. And that's what I was privileged to have, is I went out and networked and just spoke to people and said, well, what does a job look like? What are the different job roles? And those conversations were pivotal to me deciding to relaunch my career in Salesforce. I'd never had a background in tech, never realized that it could be something I could do. I thought I needed an IT background. I didn't. I had run a business, and I had a coaching background, a business coaching background. So I was used to working with coaching individuals and individuals in business to reflect on their processes and their KPIs and things like that. And that all felt quite transferable. And I will talk about transferable skills tomorrow in day 2. But with the CRM, there are these different job roles, and that's what I'm going to look at now. So I mentioned before about the different salaries. Certainly the salary I was earning was, I'd managed to transfer my existing skill set. I did invest in my training. So I did an admin training course and got my admin certification, and was able to then start my career as a Salesforce consultant working freelance. And so I was charging £400 day rates, working 3 days a week, earning 60k a year. Now, I had worked as an accidental admin, so because I'd had a Salesforce system, I obviously had some previous experience of using Salesforce, whereas some of you might be starting out. So your starting salaries could be less than that, but you can quickly advance and develop. And equally, still, the starting salaries are still a great place to be, depending on whether you're in the USA or the UK or in different countries. We have a salary guide that you can download to check what your benchmark salaries would be, but pretty much, they can be very sort of well paid and certainly progress quickly. So let's sort of look at a CRM from a different point of view in those different job roles. Now I'm going to make you think about a house, and liken it to a house. So imagine the house as your CRM system, and it's holding all of your customer data. And each room is like the marketing room, the sales room, the customer service room. You've got teams in every little room of a house. So I'm going to start with almost like the design of a house to start with. You haven't got the house built yet, but what you're doing is designing it. Now, within Salesforce, when you're designing a CRM system and you're about to build it out for an organization, we call that the business analyst role. And the business analyst will sit there with the teams and talk through what their processes currently are, what their key performance indicators are, i.e. their business targets and goals, and also talk through their pain points and challenges right now in their solution, in their how they work. And so it's a bit of an agony aunt role sometimes, because it can allow them to sort of let go of a lot of things that is troubling them, and you're there to help solve them. So as a business analyst, it's great to have that technical knowledge to help introduce solutions and scenarios for them to redesign a new way of working. So you might not have to do the build the house, but as a business analyst, you can certainly understand how they work now, understand where their pain points are, and help introduce new technology solutions to improve all of that. And that really makes them happier, right? They get really excited about that. So it's a very rewarding job to have. And if you've got great personable skills, you love digging deep, you love learning, you love solving problems, that's a great role to have. So that's the design role. You've designed the house, you've designed the CRM. The next thing is to build it. Now, to build the house, you might have clicks or code when we talk about Salesforce. Clicks is you can code might be the more technical things that you need to do, more advanced requirements, whereas clicks is maybe the bricks, the interior design, sort of adding all the bells and whistles on. So as a Salesforce administrator, you can certainly build a system, and as a Salesforce administrator role, you can drag and drop functionality. You don't need to know any sort of code. You can build a system which has probably all the basics you need, but maybe none of the more advanced frills. As a Salesforce administrator, you can advance your career to be a developer, and that's where you're using code in how you build the system. And you can certainly go down that route and earn more with that option if that is something that you want to do. You don't have to, it's not a necessity. But when you're building a house, you can build it with what we talk about, the clicks and not code, and adding the frills on. So if you enjoy building, so if you were thinking about your particular attributes, if you're a parent that likes to get your hands dirty with tech, likes to try new things out, isn't scared of it, likes sort of that quiet time where you're building things, and doing, if you're an arts and crafty type person, for example, you might really enjoy building a system. So maybe think about whether that's something for you, and the quiz will certainly help pull that out. So once you've built the house, you've then got the maintenance of the house and keeping it clean and tidy, making sure the data's clean and tidy, making sure that the users all know what they're doing. And that's equally a Salesforce administrator job. So a Salesforce administrator can build the system, but they can also maintain the system and nurture all the people in the house, make sure that they know what they're doing, train them, and keep all that data clean and tidy. So if you're that parent that likes tidying, organizing people, that might be a great job for you. Now, what you've got overlaying that is the project manager. So if you imagine if you're building a house and you had all these different suppliers and contractors, you need a project manager to coordinate who's doing what and keeping everything on time and in budget. So you can have a Salesforce project manager role. Equally, it can be valuable to have understanding of the product so you can manage people and understand what they're all doing. These roles are really highly paid. Also, think about whether this job is right for you. If you are that natural organizer, you might not want to get your hands dirty building tech, but you love organizing things, knowing where everything's at. You're the natural delegator, if you like. You like the checks and balances and ticking things off. You might make the perfect sort of project manager. And then finally, the other role that I talk often about is the sales role. So imagine you built this amazing house and now you want to put it on the market. You want to sell it to people and tell them about all the bells and whistles and the wonderful things that it could offer them as a family. That's what a salesperson does in Salesforce, is they excite companies about the potential of Salesforce and what it could do for their organization. And you might well build a demo. You can be a solution engineer as well in the sales team, but you'd showcase everything that it can do. Equally during that role, you're talking through what their current position is, what their challenges are, and you're presenting how Salesforce as a product could solve it. But what it means is you don't have to do any of the build either, but you just get to sell it into them. Now, this would suit you if you're that natural parent that loves to influence people, tell them about this amazing new product that you've bought. He's always singing the praises of different things. And you naturally, you might also be influencing the kids, with that carrot and stick approach. So if you are a natural negotiator, a natural influencer, you like selling things to people, then you might love the sales role. And again, that is a really well-paid role, quite often with really good commission. It does have sales targets attached to it, but if you are naturally good at selling something that you love, it can be a great sort of role to go into. So there's some of the different career tracks that you can go into. We have lots of case studies that we'll share throughout the week where you can listen to people and what they do now in their different jobs. That's a great insight. As I say, you can start off in one of those roles. You don't have to start off in one in particular. You'd probably align yourself to the role that naturally suits you. But during your Salesforce career, you can progress into those different job roles. The role that I did forget to mention was the Salesforce consultant role, actually. The Salesforce consultant role is like a hybrid of BA, project manager, Salesforce admin. So if you fancy a bit of all those things, the Salesforce consultant can be that cherry on the top that you can certainly progress into with all of those different skills and attributes if you want a bit of a mix. So the world is your oyster. You don't have to be stuck in one lane. You can continue to progress. You continue to progress your salary. We've certainly had Salesforce professionals who double their salary. Sometimes within a couple of years, if they're quite keen on progressing their certifications, but it's absolutely possible to do depending on where you're starting in your salary bracket and where you want to be. Typically, the churn rate in the industry is every couple of years because people want to get experience with different products, different industries. They like that change. It's very different to other industries in that nature. It is about getting experience of different size of organizations, different products, working with different things, and so change is normal. Like enjoying that is a really good place to be, and I say it can help you also increase your salary opportunities as well. So I hope that's been a great insight into day one and has encouraged you to join me for day two. As I say, on day two, we're going to be looking at all those transferable skills that you've previously had as a parent or in previous jobs, your industry experience, and I'll talk about how you can transfer those over and sell them into a new career to help you relaunch your career properly. All right, thanks very much for listening. Speak to you soon. Bye.